So in preparation to our app launch in just a couple of weeks, we have a checklist that we need to finalize before we even go out to the public to make sure that the app is ready for the market, to being launched and being discovered, right? So here's our checklist that hopefully will help you in launching your app.
Hit me! Look, brother! How you like me now?
So the first item on the list is ASO, or App Store Optimization, which is still the most popular place where people find and install apps, which is why it's so important and it's number one on the list. So making sure that you've got the correct imagery, a really good and engaging description in place, screenshots of the app, any icons, correct keywords in place, all of those things that helps people to find your app, know what it is, and be engaged. So the second thing on the list is having your website. So buy a domain, your hosting, design, develop your website, make sure you've got a landing page as well for any pre-orders or pre-signups to gather the people initially before your launch. Make sure your website is very well designed. It goes straight to the point, not too much text, very impactful, but you need to have that in place. Third thing on the list is in relation to the website, which is a press kit. So a place where different reporters, writers, and magazines, whatever it may be, can come on and get all the information they need to create an article about your company, about you, or about what you do. So the press kit should include stuff like quotes from the founders, different imagery, brand assets, maybe a press release that your copywriter wrote themselves that they can just copy paste and include in their own thing, right? But everything in one place so that somebody just can come on, drag it to their own thing, and they save time and they can post it out. So together with developing your website, obviously when you buy your domain, make sure that you immediately secure all the social media accounts as well and start, creating them before you even launch. Creating that initial traction on social media, creating the hype is very important, and building those relationships, understanding why you're doing what you're doing and what kind of problem you're solving. Once you actually launch the app, you already have an audience built through social media. So social media is a very important part for pre-launch as well. Next thing on the list is having a promo video or explainer of your app, what it does, all the services that you provide. It can be very simple as long as it very clearly explains what you do. So you can do it on a massive budget with actors and everything else, or you can just use some template animation, change some text, make sure you've got the right screens in place. But as long as it gets the message across, that's the most important thing. That's what you're gonna be showing on your website, on your social medias, and to the reporters for any publications. So talking about social media and publications, one thing is really important is identifying your influencers and the reporters that you need to really build relationships before you launch, right? So building those relationships means when you do launch, you have a place where you can immediately activate spreading of your message to the right audiences, the right people, because you know that the influencers and the reporters you build a relationship with are very well researched, very well identified, and they really suit whatever your industry is. As I mentioned before, part of the website should be a landing page as well for pre-signups, which means you will be building a mailing list of people that showed early interest, so you can give them a lot of sort of different perks and bonuses for being early adopters. But what you have with this mailing list is when you do launch, hopefully you'll get hundreds or even thousands of people that you can immediately market to and announce the app launch rather than just hoping that you build it and they will come. So the very last point on the checklist is probably one of the most important ones, which is having a soft launch. Now, what a soft launch is you rolling out the app to the people you trust that are quite close to you that can still give you quite constructive feedback on both the concept of the app and how it works. So the user experience, the user interface, and making sure that everything makes sense. So you press a button and what they expect to happen actually happens and stuff like that. So what's also important on top of that is having a really good feedback loop, right? How do people actually feedback to you? Are you meeting them face to face and just simply taking notes? Are they playing around with the app themselves and sending you an email? Are they filling in some sort of a form? that it always has the same questions in it. All these type of things really need to be pinned down to make sure that the feedback makes sense both to you and your team going forwards. Because if you don't do this and just go immediately to the public announcing everybody that you're live and you've launched, if the app is not good enough, all those things on the checklist just don't make sense anymore, and they're just irrelevant, because at the end of the day, your product is what matters the most. So I hope this was helpful. This is our checklist, what we've learned through our experience before launching an app. If you've ever launched an app, let me know if you've used any of the points from this checklist or anything I missed out. Or if you have any suggestions, just let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you and your thoughts. But for the time being, have a good one, and I'll see you later.